Hello, hello, and welcome back to the PCC podcast. And it's been a little bit, but I'm super excited to have another Coach's Corner. And today's is going to be a little bit more personal because I know Rachel and I, like, when we get on coaching calls with the clients, we like spend the whole time talking about the client, obviously, because like that's what we're paid to do. And then, like, at the end, they're like, "So, how are you? What's going on with you? What are you working on?" And I'm like, "Oh gosh, like, people really like." As much as I like to think that I share a lot on social media, like I don't share as much as I think I do or like that I'm actually going through. So today's is going to be all about our fitness goals, our health goals in 2025, like what we accomplished. And then also 2026, what are we aiming to do and how are we aiming to get there? So,
Heck, yes, I'm excited to be back.
yeah, I'm pumped. And I'm interested to hear, your stuff and what you're working on. So, how about we kind of ping pong it back and forth? Like you start with your 2025, what you worked on, what you accomplished, and then I will go after that, and then we'll forecast into 2026.
Yeah, I love it. No, I'm honestly super grateful to be doing this one. I think it's a good little reflection moment
Yeah.
too. Seeing how far we've come this year. I think even just reflecting right now, I'm like in January, I was having December, January, November is when all of my health issues were really, really apparent. Come to find out that was from mold, living in a moldy environment, and was struggling to focus, get anything done, feeling like I just wasn't myself at all and struggling so much with not feeling like myself. And looking now at the end of the year, my cycle is normal again. I had such great focus now that during that phase, I had gotten on Adderall, which I do have ADD, will not take away from that. But I hadn't been medicated really my entire life and ended up getting on that to just help with the inability to focus and brain fog and whatnot. And now I'm off of that and I just feel like myself again. I feel like the joy is there, and I just felt so many days just felt so heavy and kind of gray before. And now, even with it being pretty gray and nasty out, I'm like, Rachel's back. We're feeling good. I think that's honestly the biggest thing for 2025 was I started the year really not feeling like myself, and I'm ending it feeling more like myself than ever and just ready to continue growing. So I'm super excited about that.
Nice. Yeah. I think my favorite way that you've put your 2025 transformation was at one point, I forget where it was, maybe it was in Slack or something, but you said like I was a moldy girl.
I knew that's what you're going to say.
I know, it literally, that made me laugh so hard. So yeah, no, but that's been really cool to see because obviously you came on to PCC in like March. So this was also a big year for change there. But even like literally in pictures, I did not notice it at the time because I think you've always been like lean and muscular, like in my opinion. But when I scrolled back and like saw photos from like earlier this year compared to now, like how much your face has like
The
lost
inflammation.
inflammation, and like that's crazy to me. And obviously you did a cut, so you actually lost body fat too, but like how much of that probably like the looks wise came from inflammation and puffiness is wild to me.
It is so crazy. Looking back at the photos, it's mind blowing. If you look back like the year before when it was all kind of starting to accumulate, because we were still living in the house at that point, and prior to moving in, then moving in. And I have like a 1 year transformation picture I'll have to send you because it's absolutely insane to
Yeah.
see. But
I'm
I
here for it.
appreciate that.
Yeah. No, I had to obviously look back to notice it, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. So that's really cool. Was there anything in that, like, obviously, we kind of snapshotted, okay, beginning of the year, end of the year, that's what happened. But like, was there any like pivotal moments or like hard moments within this past year that were like big turning points for you that led to where you are now?
I think just letting go of control was a big thing. I know you've talked about that some this year too. And just letting go of control. I was gripping onto control of everything. I mean, even with the fitness related struggles I was having when it came to sleep, I would meticulously track everything everything, whether it was sleep, going to the restroom, my supplementation, like my cycle, everything almost to a fault, to the point where that was just adding stress to my plate.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what? I'm doing the right things. I'm in the right place. Right now, I just need to trust this. Like I would tell a client to do, like, hey, I know there's going to be moments where it feels like we're going through the mud, especially in the clinical side of things and functional health and whatnot. Like
Mhm.
it can feel like you're going through the trenches sometimes, and just releasing some of the control really was. I can't say that there was one specific moment. I guess one that might come to mind is I was probably in February or March still. I mean, because I know when I started here, my sleep was still not great. And I woke up in the middle of the night for like probably the 10th night in a row. And I just started crying because I was like, I'm so defeated right now. And that was the moment where I was like, you know what? I'm giving up control of this. I need to stop stressing. Like, you're so aware. I'm like, the stress is what's making me struggle with the sleep.
Mhm.
And truly giving that up and saying, like, I just need to trust that I'm doing everything right. This is out of my hands at this point. I'm doing what needs to be done to get me feeling better, feeling like myself. And now here we are. It's
Yeah.
just kind of, it really is it's a crazy thing to think about because it's been a while, but
Yeah.
we've made it.
Yeah. Is there any like, because I feel like that's a really relatable thing is like kind of hyper analyzing everything, like wanting to make sure everything's perfect. Like,
Yeah.
is there anything that you would give like our clients that maybe feel like they're trying to over control the process? Like, how do you actually let go? Like, there's a mindset shift behind it, but like, what do you actually do? Or like, what would you say to that?
I think, okay, for an example, personal example was I was at one point in time, I could still literally pull it up on my phone, tracking. I have an Aura ring. So I can look in the app and see this is how much sleep I had,
Yeah.
right? I don't need to write it down somewhere because it's in an app.
Yeah.
And I was waking up and checking a list off of I did my daily gratitude. I wrote down how much I slept. I wrote down how much I weighed after I had a bowel movement. I did X, Y, and Z, right? And it was all these things that I was really just feeling like were check boxes at some point. And did
Mhm.
they actually have meaning? And kind of coming back to the fact of why am I doing this in the first place? To remove stress and feel better. And all I'm doing right now is adding stress. So, again, a lot of it was I'm not anymore going to write down how many
Yeah.
hours I slept when I already have the ability to go in and see it. I'm not going to track every single bowel movement and write it down. There might have been a good phase where I needed to do that for 2 weeks and
Yeah.
analyze things, but hyper fixating for such an extended period of time, it's just not going to do any good. I don't know if I really answered the question
Yeah.
too,
No, that's,
but yeah, I think it's not easy, but finding things to either do in place of that are actually beneficial, whether that's just reading. And instead of in the morning waking up and checking my 10 things off of a box,
yeah.
I'm going to keep my phone away and I'm going to read for 10 minutes because I know I'm going to feel better afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And I actually want to do it because of how I feel after.
Yeah. No, I completely get that. I think it's like uh trying so hard to do it all right and like looking for the validation that you're doing it right, and that checklist is like the validation that I'm doing it right, and that's what a lot of our perfectionists tend to think. And then I think like, yeah, what, like if we have, obviously we need data as coaches from our clients, but like what data is like, redundant or like more than necessary or things like that, and like how can we consistently make sure like, okay, we have what we need, but at the same time, like, I don't know, an example is like a client might weigh in and like put it in their app, but then they weigh in 4 more times that day. And it's like, let's not do that.
Exactly.
So,
We don't need to overcomplicate things.
yeah. So, um,
No. What about you? I want to hear more about what you've
yeah.
done from.
Uh, 2025. So yeah, I think looking back, it's actually really interesting because I think every like quarter of 2025 I've felt like more and more like myself again. But then when I look back and I'm like in quarter two when I was saying that, I had no idea what I meant, like so I guess the story, to make it really really short, because I've told this before on the podcast, is like this work that I'm doing right now kind of really dates back to 2021 when I started scaling the business. And I think I didn't know what I was going to be getting myself into at the time to grow a bigger business than just like solopreneuring it. But like there was a lot of ego attached to it. There was a lot of like social status attached to it. There was a lot of wanting to honestly do things the right way or get on the leaderboard or have validation from people outside of myself, that led to kind of losing myself in that process. And then I just distinctly remember like through 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. I think 2024 was the last year that I like last year I probably just didn't put pressure on myself, but like the first couple years I got so absorbed in business that I kind of let the standards for my fitness slip a little bit. I don't even want to say that because it's not like I got overweight or gained a bunch of weight or, got super off track. Like I was always going to the gym 3 times per week and eating high protein and usually tracking my food, for being totally honest. But the details that I used to be able to like just do without really thinking about it, like if I wanted to have a macro target and actually hit it, that I could just do the math and just hit it real easily. That like self trust to be able to do that like eroded over those years to the point where like I remember in like 2023, 2024, I was just questioning to myself like what like who am I to like be a coach to all these people when like I haven't consistently hit a set of macros for like more than 3 days in a row for years. And it's like I could justify that all I wanted to. Like I don't need to because like I am maintaining a body weight that I like. And it's true. I've through this period I haven't really been like so dissatisfied with my body in any season, but it's not, the exact perfect, body that I would ideally want, right? But I think over the course of time and especially this year, it became more about like it became less about the outcome and more about proving to myself that I could follow through. And then I think in the end of 2024, going into early 2025, I just lost like a ton of confidence in like all areas because most of my confidence was built on like external validation around my business. So when that like, for lack of a better term, it didn't actually like really crash and burn, but like I'll just say crash and burn. I lost a lot of confidence and I don't even think I admitted it to myself until like now. And so this year has kind of been the process of honestly going through some grieving of like what I thought was meaningful to me and what I thought was important to me and like recentering, finding my faith, and then like finally kind of being ready enough to commit to myself and my health again. And like from the lens of I want to just prove to myself that like I can trust myself with like the smallest things. So like literally the past month, I've hit my macros every day except for 2 days, like within the 5 gram range, whatever. Like, and it hasn't felt hard. It hasn't felt forced. Like it's just happening and like hitting my steps every day and like literally just following through. And that's what's I always kind of bring this question back every now and again. I always like to think about like what does it take for someone to finally get sick enough of their own shit that they just change. And like I think for me it was like there was a combination of like yes, seeing myself go through the same pattern again and again and getting sick of not following through, but at the same time I think I never really acknowledged how overloaded I was for so many years. So there was like this whole year has been really chill business wise, which has been like such a blessing. And I've been able to let go of a lot of like outcome focus and stress and like just getting focused on like the purpose and the clients and the mission. And then I think that opened up space for me to actually have room to like have bandwidth to pour into it. And it's just something I would never admit to myself because I'm just like, I can just do everything. Like I'm just a super person, which isn't true. So yeah, I think that's long story long, what I did this year. And the past month has been like really dialing in on a physique focus. Obviously I did the half marathon and marathon prep, got injured and did another half. And I do think that the running was just a reminder of like, hey, you're an athlete. Like you like having goals outside of just like be consistent. And I'm definitely looking forward to that, which I know we'll touch on next year. But that was also like a big thing for, I think, for just like mental health too. Like there's actually been some research that I've come across now of the fact that running, because it's like rhythmic, it actually like helps to activate certain parts in the brain that like help reduce rumination and overthinking and things like that. And
Right.
so I have to imagine that like helped in some regard.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was really beneficial for a lot of reasons, and especially with just like, I think that set the foundation. Now that I'm thinking about it, is like I set the running plan, I said I was going to do it, and I did it, and that built the foundation for me to then follow through on like the nutrition stuff. So now we're doing a little recomp phase. I need to adjust my calories because I'm like plateauing where I am, but we're doing it and we're committed and it feels good. So I
Awesome.
think similar end point to you is like I feel more like myself than I have in a long time. My spark is back, my creativity is back, my like just passion is back. And I haven't been able to say that for a while.
No, it's so cool. I mean, obviously, I guess what 9 months about have been working with PCC now, and it's crazy because, like you said, when I think it was Q2, you had said when I around the time I started, mentioned you're like, yeah, I'm feeling more and more like myself, and I do think it's been something that you have said in
Yeah.
each quarter, but it's cool to see how that's evolved
Yeah.
because how you, I mean, you've showed up on social media for the team, for yourself in each season, but how you've been able to show up, I can see how that's evolved
Mm.
throughout the year. And I know that you've even said, you're like, it really is just proving to yourself that you can and will do the hard things because you always have, but just recreating and rebuilding that trust within yourself. And it's so cool to see. I'm really excited for you.
That's cool. That's interesting that you've been able to see that in hindsight too, of like, yeah, like this sounds like she's like, more like herself, but then you're like, oh, but this is a new version of that, and this is a new version of that. So that's cool.
You've also said, you're like, I get the compliment that I'm more chill. And I'm like, I've seen that evolution too.
Really? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Over
And
like 9 months.
no, for sure, for sure. I really
That's
do feel that
crazy.
way. No, it's cool.
I
It's
literally I think back on that comment so much. I get that comment from almost everyone that I've known for like in the business space for like the past 3, 4 years. Marissa, you're so much more chill than you used to be. And I'm like, how anxious was I for me to consistently keep getting this comment for like the last 4 years?
I mean, it has to say a lot though, because I mean, you are showing up, you're doing the dang thing, and yeah, you do come across very chill, very mellow.
Yeah.
Just, and I think it has a lot to do, and maybe I'm wrong here, but you're doing, I know you've mentioned before, feeling like with the business that sometimes you weren't necessarily doing what you wanted to do with the business and following the path that actually felt aligned with you.
Yeah.
And now you're doing that. And I feel like that has to just in general feel less anxiety inducing and stressful.
Yeah. Or it's not even like anxiety and stressful because so the interesting part of that is that I had no idea what was even in alignment for me that whole time. Like I thought that that was like this is what's in alignment for me, right? But there's just this internal friction of like something's off, I can't feel it, or like I can't put my finger on it, but I can feel it. And I had that for so long and I could never figure it out. And so now I'm looking back, and I'm sure a year from now I'll look back and be like, she didn't know what she was talking about. But like, better than I have in the past. Like I feel like I'm actually looking inward of like, what do I want and what is in alignment for me, and like casting that vision out for like you and the rest of the team. And what's cool is like everyone's resonated with it more rather than less. And like I think the internal fear was probably like, oh, like I have to mold myself for other people. But when I actually tapped into like what's inside, it's like, no, people actually really respect that. So
Yeah, 100%. Lots of respect for it. I think that it's very admirable and it is cool to see the evolution of you, the business, and all the things.
appreciate that.
Be a part of it.
Yeah. So what's in store for 2026 for you? Your goals, fitness, health, all of the above.
Yeah, I think biggest thing is, and I feel like I've already started to lean into this kind of in the last quarter of 2025. one of the biggest things. And I'm going to tag on something you said too. But I really think during the whole health phase I was going through and a majority of 2025, I just found myself so anxious all the time. And just, again, not feeling like myself and feeling like it was taking 110% of me to get through the day every single day. And I think just kind of leaning into and continuing to figure out how to, I think I've already felt less anxious, honestly, but I think just continuing to lean into that and feeling more chill, more like myself. And like you said, I think just focusing on nervous system regulation is a big one. I think we work with this on, or work with clients on this a ton,
Yeah.
but doing some of that back to myself, I think is super important. But to also tag off what you were saying earlier, I am not sure yet exactly what, figuring that out, over the next month or so, I'd say. But I want to be working towards a like athletic event, whether that's like a high rocks, a half marathon. I want to have something that I'm working towards just because, like you said, playing volleyball, playing pickleball, doing all these things, I'm like, I miss just feeling like an athlete.
Yeah.
And I think just in general, training more like an athlete. I don't necessarily want to lean into just bodybuilding style training like I've done for years on end. So that, and training wise, right now I'm just starting which I'm saying just starting, but we're going on the honeymoon in a week. So maybe when we get back will be the real start. We are lightly beginning and we'll restart again with this training phase once I get back, because the odds of lifting much on the honeymoon aren't very high.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do like a 12 to 16 week glute and core strengthening, like specifically focusing on more athletic movements too, just more functional training, but really trying to strengthen glutes and core, because I've found that I've had some knee pain. I know that you can relate on that one. And I'm like, you know what? If I could just work on these glutes a little bit more and have some stronger glutes, I know that that'd be a really great foundation. So, yeah, I think that's a big place I want to start. I'm going to be going into a reversing phase as well here for like the first quarter or so, and then do a little cut as I go forward. But I would say those are my big ones right now, and I'll have to elaborate a little bit more once I know which specific event I'm leaning towards.
Yeah, that's super fun. Yeah, I'm interested in high rocks too. I think I know I was literally like, shoot, like I was gonna do a marathon this upcoming year. Maybe I need to throw high rocks in there. Because they're kind of they can coincide. Like you can marathon train and high rocks. But okay, well we'll talk. um no, that's really cool. Yeah, because I think another thing that like I think you'll probably resonate with is like when it comes to like walking the walk. I've been seeing a lot of content lately, and I've just resonated so much with it of like just consistency is not a goal for like people like us who do this for a living. It's like we need to raise the bar and like lead from the front. So it's like having that and like tapping into really our identity. It's like I'm an athlete, I'm a coach. Like I love this stuff, and like that can reignite so much passion. But for so long, I used like work as an excuse to not do things like that, and it's like that's no fun. Where's the fun in that? Like that just sucks your whole life dry. So I think that's really cool.
No, I agree. I've been actually seeing a lot of that content too. And that was kind of, I had this feeling like something is missing, sort of, but then seeing some of that recently, one in particular, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it just lit that spark where I was like, why am I not focused on doing something specific right now? Because I've always, I mean, I think that in all reality, when I competed in bodybuilding was what I enjoyed about it the most, was having something I was always working towards and feeling like I'm always putting my best foot forward and focusing on leveling up, even if that doesn't look the same as a bodybuilding journey might, but focusing on an athletic event. I mean, whatever it may be, I just think that that's inspirational. And if you're showing up for yourself in that way, it's a lot easier to show up for your clients, putting your best foot forward for them too. So yeah.
They can feel it. They can really feel it too. Like I've just noticed that this year, like when I've been more dialed in on myself, like I can just speak to like what does it take to overcome your own excuses more and then pass that on.
Yeah.
So, all right, 2026.
Let's hear it.
So my plan right now, I am aiming to do a little bit of recomp. I don't really want to call it a mini cut, but like just leaning out a little bit. And really, again, the purpose is being able to say, like, I locked in and like I'm holding this standard while I also like work on the business and things like that. Um, and I do want to schedule a photo shoot for like the end of it. I know the person I'm going to be doing that with. I just need to pick a date and like lock that in.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so that, and then obviously it's like a brand shoot, so I get content for the page at the same time. So it's always a win-win. So that is number one, and I really want to complete a marathon in 2026 because it just broke my heart to get injured so close to the race, so close to being able to like peak the mileage and taper off and run the whole thing. But my knee was not having it. So in all of my training right now, I'm doing like more just full body, like general training, but like throwing in all of my knee stuff and rehab and stuff like that. And then, so we go to Hawaii on Sunday, as when we're recording this, December 5th. We leave in 2 days, which is crazy. It's been disgusting out, so I haven't been running for recovering the knee and because it's gross. But I'm going to start running again in Hawaii because that's easy and it's warm and beautiful. And see how everything fares there, and then like continue hybrid training when we get back after that. I do, let's see. So that's the biggest thing. I think honestly, if I'm looking at like keeping the timelines generous for like everything that I want to accomplish, it would make the most sense to just do the Charlotte Marathon next year in November. Like as much as I don't necessarily want to wait that long, I think that is the best timeline, and it's local. I know the race. It's a great race. So I think that's probably going to be what it is. I would love to throw a high rocks in there, like in the summer or something like that. Um,
And you'll have all your people there in Charlotte too, which
yeah,
is nice.
yeah. Because yeah, I've been eyeing high rocks too, and that's just so cardio driven that like it should complement well. And I have that background in CrossFit a little bit too. So, yeah, so that's that. But I think the biggest thing is the conjunction of doing that and also leading the business with my best foot forward. So the thing that I haven't shared as much of is like I locked in on my fitness stuff, but also like I've just had this like extra fire around business, but like from a place of alignment. So it was really like when we launched the whole upgrade movement and being like, we're going to make our client experience like 10 times better. And when I said that to you originally, I was like, I don't know how yet, but I just know we're going to do it. And then once you like say it out loud, like the ideas start moving, and like the thing that really shifted for me was like the first office hour I led where I announced this and I said, you know, everybody needs to lean in, and like everybody just got like so on fire from it. And then we did the momentum assessments and people loved that. And I was like, I think it was the response from the clients where I was like, oh shit, like, yeah, we can definitely level up our client experience and just make it so much better. And it's fun versus being like, let's hit another revenue target. Like, it's like, so what? I've done that before. It's unfulfilling. So yeah, that's been cool. And like, I've just every single day I've hit my big three non-negotiable items. I have worked a little bit longer hours, I will say, and I think that's why my neck has been hurting. But so we're gonna fix that in Hawaii. Uh, but just being able to be the person that can hold both, I think I've had the dichotomy of I can either be all in on business or all in on my fitness, because that's basically the toggle switch that has existed since I was like all in on my fitness up to when I went all in on my business, and then it flipped. So I think learning how to hold both and nervous system regulation through that, because like I was telling you and like everyone on the team this week, it's like I feel like I'm just like on fire. I'm killing it. Everything's going the way that I want with it. And it's like, okay, now my neck starts hurting. And it was almost an obstacle for me to get a workout in yesterday. It was almost an obstacle for me to finish my, big three for the work for the past couple days. But I didn't let it. I just took the breaks I needed to take and like still said I'm gonna follow through no matter what. And I think that's where it's like my body is like so used to like success not feeling safe and like not feeling safe in like being a version of myself that like consistently follows through like time after time after time. So I think rebuilding that self-trust is going to be a game of tactics, but also a lot of mental work as well. So that's been really interesting, and very, very top of mind, which has been cool.
Yeah, 100%. It is crazy, I'm sure. The feeling of, wow, I can do it both and it feels okay. I know the neck pain came
Yeah.
up. Like, you're feeling good aside from that. I mean,
Yeah. Outside of that, it's like literally, I don't have to think extra. I'm not like, oh my God, my fitness is so much work. It's like, it's
yeah,
just the level of intentionality behind it is just different.
yeah. And all of that 2025 work got you to here. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
that's what we're going to do. We're speaking it out and we're going to make it happen. And now that we're talking about this high rocks, I'm like, well, I can't go back on that.
I know. I'm like, we need to do the little, I don't know, is it called, uh, is it called couples or is it duos? I don't know what it's
It'd be like women's doubles, or I think they name it like they name volleyball. It's like women's doubles, quads, like
Yep.
team, things like that. But yeah, that would be really cool. We can look at where those are.
I know. I've been looking. I'm like, they have so many. We gotta figure that out.
Cool. Okay. Um, cool. Anything else on? Oh, I have a question for. We'll just round this out really quickly.
Mhm.
Do you have any words that you would use to describe 2025 and then 2026 of like a word for the year? If you've ever done that.
Mm. Ooh, I had a couple of words. I'm like, one word might be. I would say 2025. We'll use the word comeback.
Mm.
And then 2026, I like the word peace, but peace with a little combination of growth.
Peace with a little pizzazz.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What about you?
I'm pretty sure because I actually typically end up like choosing a word for the year, as cheesy as that is. I'm pretty sure 2025's was stability. And like literally all I wanted to do all year for especially the first half, I was like, I just want things to feel stable. and then and then this year the word is upgrade. It is
I like it.
upgrading
I like it.
upgrading how I take care of myself, upgrading even little things like we talked about, like skincare, wardrobe, like building that out slowly, and then upgrading client experience, business, like just everything.
Yeah, you have me on the skincare. I literally just started like a week and a half ago with the like so I have some of the stuff you sent, and I'm
Oh,
like,
really?
so good.
Dude, like the first day that I put the cleanser on my face, I was like, this just feels like it's actually doing something.
I go to bed. I've gone to bed the last few nights, and I know I shouldn't touch my face. Like I don't normally touch my face like I have been the last few days, but I'm like, it's so soft.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't normally feel like this.
It's literally insane. I'm like, dang, I've been sleeping on this for all of my 20s.
I literally, like, wow, we need to get it together.
Yeah.
Proud of us.
Sweet. All right. Thank you guys for listening. We hope that, especially if you guys are our clients and you're listening to this, that you enjoyed it and feel connected to our goals and now have a little bit more insight on what we're working on. So let us know if you listened. And if you are not already subscribed, what are you doing? Go do that, please. And we'll see you back here for the next one.
Bye, guys.